Welcome to this video lesson for the Fresh Approach Daily Drills. I'm just going to give you a few pointers and a few helpful hints as you're working through these exercises, that things that you might want to look towards to make sure that you're enforcing the proper technique all the way through this. On this video, we're covering lesson 1. I'll cover the snare drum part and then I'll cover the keyboard part. As you're playing the very first 4 lines, these are basically just rebound strokes. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but a rebound stroke is where the stroke starts high and ends high. So as I'm playing just my right hands and then my left hands, notice line number 1 is just 8 on a hand. Every time I start in the up position, I throw the stick at the head, try to hit it right in the center, and then the stick rebounds back to the up position. What you really want to pay attention to here is not gripping the stick with the back fingers and pushing the stick into the palm of the hand. We want to make sure that the back fingers are free to allow the stick to move back and forth between the palm of the hand and the back fingers. And then we want to make sure that the stick travels straight up and down and there's no tension whatsoever. So as you're working through the first line, you want to listen to the sound so that your right hand matches in volume and in quality of sound to your left hand. So I don't want a louder right hand. All right, then I do my left hand. Now, you just use enough velocity behind the throw of the stick to get the stick to rebound. Velocity means speed and force. So I'm not trying to really hit the drum hard or the practice pad hard. I'm just using enough velocity to push the stick down and have it rebound up. So as you work through these lines, line number 1 is 8 on a hand. Line number 2 is 2s or doubles. Always listen, especially if you're playing along with the play along track, which I really encourage you to do. Listen to the subdivision of the groove of the tune and just try to play along exactly in time with that. All right. If you're not using the accompaniment track, I really encourage you to practice with a metronome, and not only practice with a metronome set on the beat, but with a subdivision so that you can learn how to divide the beat into 2 parts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice that my sticks always are coming back up to the up position on every stroke. Line number 3 is our single strokes. So we want to make sure that each stick still comes back up to the up position. Okay, this is a pretty slow tempo. Okay, we'll get faster eventually, but we just want to think of throwing the stick and having it rebound back up. And then finally, line number 4 is our paradiddle sticking. 2 singles and a double. Paradiddle, paradiddle. Now, right at the very beginning, you can help yourself out by saying paradiddle as you're playing that, because later on, as we get faster and faster and introduce other paradiddle rudiments, knowing the paradiddle sticking is really, really important. All right, let's look at line number 5. In line number 5, basically I'm hitting straight notes, 1, 2, 3, 4 with rebound strokes. In the second measure, I have 8th note doubles on my right hand that subdivide the beats 1 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now this is very, very early on that we're learning how to play our doubles and getting a good quality double stroke, not a double bounce, but a double stroke in those in between those quarter notes. So as you're playing this, think of your subdivision, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and get a good quality double on your right hand. Line number 6 is the same, but now our double moves to our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. All right, you can count out loud depending on your counting system. You can say "and" between the beats, or you can say "te." All right, again, every stroke is a rebound stroke, so there is no squeezing of the back fingers. We really have to get used to that. There's no pumping the arms. We're not playing with our arms. We're just playing with our wrist. Okay, relax the hands, and I'm going on the assumption that you know how to set up, do the proper grip, where you strike on the drum and all that kind of stuff. But as you're playing, always think of the stick coming back to the up position. All right, line number 7 and 8 work on our buzz stroke. Now remember, if you've covered buzzes before, all we're doing with our buzz stroke is striking the drum, using a little bit of pressure in our fulcrum, not with the back fingers, but in our fulcrum, pushing the stick into the head. So you're going to have a little bit of pressure here in your thumb and your first finger on the fulcrum to get the stick bouncing, but to elongate the bounce, to make the bounce longer, we want to relax that fulcrum as the stick bounces. So don't push so hard with so much pressure that the stick just... All right, if that's the way your buzzes sound, you're using too much pressure into the stroke. So relax that fulcrum just a little bit. Again, keeping the back fingers from choking the stick off. Always leave a little bit of room in those back fingers. Okay, so practicing on your right hand buzz stroke or multiple bounce stroke, and then your left hand multiple bounce stroke before you get to this exercise is really important. All right, so take your time working on your buzz stroke separate, and then when you're playing this daily drill, it's just a reinforcement of the techniques that you already know. So when I'm playing in measure 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that the buzz or the multiple bounce goes all the way through both of those counts of the half note. So I'm thinking buzz, buzz, buzz. There's no breaks in sound between the buzzes. So not... I want to make sure that the buzz lasts for the whole 2 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buzz, buzz. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buzz, buzz. All right? Always thinking up on the quarter notes. Then when you get to line number 8, it's simply just back and forth. Right, left, buzz. Left, right, buzz. Right, left, buzz. Left, right, buzz. See how long you can get those bounces. Now, I will mention too that depending on the practice pad you're playing on, the surface, if you're playing on a drum or if you're playing on a practice pad that's really soft, you may not be able to get as a relaxed a multiple bounce as I do when I'm playing on this heavy hitter stock pad. So this is a pretty standard pad. It's a wooden base, it's a gum rubber. This one actually has a layer of mylar, but you can get different kinds of practice pads that have different amounts of bounces to them. You want to make sure that whatever practice pad you have allows the stick to bounce. If you get one of those really soft gum rubber pads, it'll just stop in the middle. It's like trying to bounce on a floor tom. So you want to make sure your practice pad is suitable for playing bounces. Line number 9 and 10 is just reading lines. What we're trying to do throughout all of these daily drills is to develop not only reading rhythms, which these are repetitive rhythms, but also getting the consistency of the sticking. So I did write the sticking in all the way through all of these, but this one, basically, I keep my right hand on every downbeat, 1, count 1, and count 3, and then the left stick plays count 2 and 4. So no matter where I take out a note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I take out the stick that I would have used to play that note that's missing. What I encourage you to do too is when you get to line number 9 and 10 is to tap your foot. All right, so I refer to this a lot of times in my lessons in the Fresh Approach books, is to play your foot. So think of 1, 2, 3 foot, 1, 2, 3 foot, 1, 2, 3 foot, 1, 2, 3 foot. So if you think of playing your foot, it's always going to be connected to the beat. It's going to help you stay in time. And then the same thing goes for line number 10. 1, 2, rest, 4, 1, 2, rest, 4. So the sticking is based off of me taking out that right hand. All right, you can play this all alternating, but it kind of defeats the purpose of why I wrote this. The whole thing is written so that you can develop the proper sticking habits for what we call the right hand lead sticking system, or the natural sticking. Right? We want to make sure that you're developing that sticking consistently all the way through these drills, so play with the sticking I've written there. All right, so practice along with the play along track, along with the keyboard, okay? Take some time, really work out the techniques so that when you're practicing this on a daily basis, right? Practicing every day, just for a short 4 minutes on snare drum, that you're actually reinforcing the correct technique all the way through. All right, if you can do that, pause the video, work through that on the snare drum, and then go over to the keyboard part, and then the next half of the lesson, we'll talk about the keyboard.